I managed to make this entire Thanksgiving dinner in under 3 hours and for less than $60, most of it using the Blackstone Pellet Grill. I'm going to show you how to do it, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to cook is our turkey. We're going to spatchcock this and cook it in the Blackstone Pellet Grill. It'll only take about an hour and a half, so let's get started. We're going to start with a whole turkey, and I'm going to start by just patting this dry, getting all those juices off there. This is about a 12-pound turkey, but this method works for any turkey. I'm going to flip that thing over. To spatchcock it, it's pretty easy. We're just going to remove this backbone right here. And I'm just going to use a pair of kitchen shears here, and I'm going to run it right up along that backbone. You're going to get as close as you can to it and just start using those shears to cut right through that backbone. Now, it's going to take some muscle here. You'll see that I have to use two hands a couple times to get through some of the bigger bones, but those shears will cut through it. It's not that hard. And so you're just going to cut right along that backbone all the way to the other end of the turkey. Then once you've got one side done, you're going to go back and do the same thing along the other side, cutting the whole way down that backbone. Spatchcocking a turkey is a really good idea, especially if you're cooking it on a smoker, just because that dark meat and white meat cooks kind of at different temperatures and at different rates, and it ends up cooking unevenly. You'll end up with some overcooked dark meat while you're waiting on that white meat to finish. By spatchcocking, you're kind of spreading the turkey out a little bit, helping it cook a little more evenly. You end up with a juicier bird. It doesn't take as long to cook, so you don't risk drying the meat all out while it's cooking. We're also going to cook this at a very high temperature, so when normally you would think this would take it all day to cook your turkey, by spatchcocking it and cooking it on the smoker, we're going to have this turkey done in a little over an hour, saving you a lot of time on your Thanksgiving meal. Once you get through to that second part of that backbone, you may have to cut a little bit of extra skin off the end there. But once you've removed that backbone, you don't want to throw that away. This is the perfect cut of meat for you to throw into a pot and make a good turkey stock, and you can use it for your turkey gravy. Okay, now that we have the backbone taken out, I'm just going to flip it right back over, and then we're going to spread both those legs and thighs out. And then we're going to use both of our hands to push right down on that middle, and you'll hear a loud crack as you do that. And you're just trying to get this thing to flatten out as best as possible. And then you can reposition those legs, tuck the wings under the front there, and then you're all set to go. Just give you another look here so you can see how we tuck those wings up underneath the bird. Okay, so now we're going to inject this bird. This is my secret to a juicy turkey, no matter what. This Creole butter, you can buy several different brands. It really doesn't matter which brand you buy. They all come with this injector. This stuff is the best if you want the juiciest bird. You don't have to brine it. You don't have to do any special preparation before the day of. You just take this and you inject it directly into the breast and thigh meat. You're going to do about 8 to 10 injections into each breast and about 5 to 6 into each thigh. That bottle of Creole butter will get you an entire turkey about this size. If you do a much bigger turkey, like if you're over 20 pounds, you might need 2 bottles of it to get the whole turkey. But you want to make sure you get down inside that meat. Be careful not to be squirting too far. You don't want to poke all the way through and end up squirting all your butter all over your cutting board here. But you're just going to insert this all over this breast meat. You're going to move it around. Try to inject as much as you can into each one. You will notice that the more you put in there, some of it will start to squirt back out. That's just a sign that you're getting quite a bit in there. It's okay. Just keep moving it around and keep going. Okay, once we're all injected, it's now time to season the bird. And so we're just going to do a mixture of some sea salt here. We're going to just cover liberally with salt all over that skin. Then I'm going to add some poultry seasoning all over it. Just rub that in with your hands all over that top skin area. I'm also going to do some thyme and some rosemary. And I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of sage. You could do whatever your favorite seasoning is for this. I just happen to be going a little more traditional with my flavors on this one, but use whatever rub you like. Okay, so we're not going to time this in our cook. We're more focused on temperature. And so I'm going to use my wireless meter thermometers here. I'm going to insert one into the front of that breast, and then because the dark meat cooks at a different rate, I'm going to put one in the thigh back here. So we're going to wait until those internal temperatures hit 165 on both of those thermometers, and that's how we'll know when our turkey's done. Like I said, we're going to cook this on a really high temperature, so I'm going to use the Blackstone Pellet Grill. We've got the hopper full of pellets. We're going to set that temperature to about 400 degrees. Once it's preheated, put that turkey right here in the middle of that rack. And we're going to just let it go, monitoring the temperature the whole time. Once both thermometers are reading 165, it's time to pull it off. And look at that, perfectly roasted turkey. Nothing is too overcooked. It's going to be so juicy and so good. Skin is nice and crispy. This only took about an hour and a half in total to cook. Now that the turkey's done, we can move on to my favorite Thanksgiving side, the corn casserole. We're going to start with 2 sticks of butter that we're going to just throw right into a mixing bowl, and we're going to go ahead and microwave this for about 30 seconds to a minute until it's completely melted. While that's microwaving, I'm going to go ahead and spray down my pan and get it ready. So this is a dump and go meal, so I'm going to start by dumping 2 cans of whole kernel sweet corn into that melted butter, followed by 2 cans of creamed corn. Then I'm going to do 2 cups of sour cream, followed by 2 boxes of this Jiffy corn muffin mix. And that's really all there is to it. We're going to mix this together really good until it's completely mixed up. Make sure there's no dry chunks of that Jiffy cornbread mix left. Then we're going to just dump this directly into my pan. And we're going to set our smoker to 350 degrees. Once that's preheated, we're going to throw that corn casserole right there in the middle of the smoker. We're going to let it go for about an hour. And while that's cooking, we can get started on our green bean casserole. We're going to start with 4 cans of green beans. We're going to drain those and then put them in a bowl. Got a large mixing bowl so I can house all 4 cans. Then I'm going to do 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup in that same bowl. And then add to that 1 cup of milk. And then for seasoning, I'm going to add a dash of soy sauce. We're going to throw in some salt. And then a hefty amount of garlic powder. And onion powder. We're going to mix that all together until it's all mixed through. Then we're going to prep our pan by just giving it a good spray. And we're going to dump that mixture right into that pan. Then we're going to preheat our smoker to about 350 degrees. We're going to place our green beans right there on the smoker. The Blackstone Pellet Grill is perfect for cooking multiple sides at one time for your Thanksgiving dinner. After about 25 minutes, we're going to add our French fried onion topping to the top of that green bean casserole. Just sprinkle that all across the top. Once you have it all covered in those fried onions, we're going to put it back in the smoker and it's going to cook for about another 10 minutes. And then we are ready to go. I'm going to pull this out. Look at that quick green bean casserole, the perfect side for any Thanksgiving dinner. And now we have room in the pellet grill for our stuffing. We're going to start with about 4 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to get that boiling on the stove. Then I'm going to take a stick of this Kerrygold garlic and herb butter. It's a little more expensive, but it has some seasoning in it that we're going to use. I'm going to put about half of that in that chicken broth while it's heating up. The other half I'm going to put it in a pan and let it start to melt. Once that broth is boiling, I'm going to put 2 boxes of stovetop stuffing right inside there, let that cook. I'm also going to be using this already diced up carrots, celery, and onion. You can dice this stuff up yourself if you want. I just thought this would be easier. I'm going to dump that straight into that melted butter in the pan, let that cook. We're not trying to get this brown or anything, we just want it to be nicely softened. To that, I'm going to add a big heaping spoonful of garlic. Once my stuffing is done, you'll see it's pretty wet. I'm going to go ahead and add those vegetables that are sauteed up right to that stuffing. Mix it all up. To this, I'm going to add some dry cornbread crumbs. You can buy these at your local grocery store. They come in a variety of different kinds of packages and whatever. I'm going to mix that all up in there real good. And then at this point, it's ready to transfer to my pan. I'll spread that around in that pan so it's nice and evenly spread out. Then to this, I'm going to add 1 jar of this turkey gravy. You could, of course, use your homemade gravy. I'm trying to keep this cheap and easy, as low effort as possible. We've got a lot of cooking to do on Thanksgiving. Let's make things as easy as possible where we can. I'm going to go around with my spatula and just kind of work that gravy down into that stuffing a little bit. Then I'm going to add a few pats of butter to the top. Just about 6 pats of butter right across the top there. That'll melt down into that stuffing as well. Then we're ready to put it on the pellet grill. We're going to let that cook for about an hour. At some point while the stuffing's cooking, your corn casserole should be done and ready to come out. And then this stuffing actually took less than an hour. You just want to pull it out when it starts to brown on top. Now let's carve our turkey. I'm just going to start by cutting the thigh out of the way, and then I'm going to cut that breast as one big piece right off of there. And I just want you to look at these turkey breasts. Look at all the juices. That's the magic of that Creole butter, guys. It makes all the difference. And there you have it, an entire Thanksgiving dinner cooked in a Blackstone Pellet Grill minus the mashed potatoes and the ham. How long does it take you to make your Thanksgiving dinner? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, thanks for watching.